Hitman isn't really a series known for having spin-offs. There was that iOS sniping game that I'm not sure anyone actually played, and there was the beautifully minimalist Hitman Go that I still need to play, but that's it. Or at least I thought that was it until I recently decided to randomly search through my favorite game franchises on a shady J2ME game site as you do, and I came across this. Now, Hitman Blood Money is one of my favorite games ever, and not having the money for Hitman 2, not Silent Assassin, I decided I'd go for the next best thing and give this a run. Now, as far as I can tell, there's a grand total of 3 videos about this game on YouTube, or 4 if you count one which just steals another, and there's just a handful of articles and reviews of it on the web. It came out in October of 2006, about 6 months after the real Blood Money, and was developed by a now defunct UK company named Morpheme, who were known for their mobile games, with their most successful being their 2003 tie-in, The Fast and the Furious, which had over 2 million downloads. After shutting down in 2008, someone wrote a really solid post-mortem piece about them, which is absolutely worth a read. A link to it is in the description. So delving in, this is an attempt at making a 200 kilobyte isometric Hitman game, which runs at 240 by 320 or lower depending on your phone. You know I like demakes, and this is well and truly a demake if there ever was one. Using grid-based movement, you make your way through levels completing objectives like collecting keycards, gathering information, and killing targets. Not every level has a target, and the whole game is set in one Vegas casino where you're going between floors. It's kinda cool, like you can tell they took visual cues from the real Blood Money, with the casino floors looking like the level The House of Cards, and the later levels look like A Dance with the Devil, the one with the elevator that goes up to heaven and hell, which is pretty cool. And the simple story is mostly told through text before each level, which is implied to be from Diana. I kinda wonder how this fits into the Hitman lore. So mechanically it tries its best to be Hitman. You can swap through disguises, hide bodies, fiberwire people, or just shoot them down. The way the shooting works is you press a button to auto-aim at a nearby target, and you wait for a dial to complete to make sure the shot hits, and then you press the same button to fire and kill. Everyone dies after a single bullet except 47, who takes a few, and whether you're carrying like a fiberwire or a pistol or an SMG or a sniper rifle or any weapon, it's always represented by a pistol in 47's hand, and no one seems to care that he's openly carrying it. Let's just say this game feels a bit rushed. That said, some of the levels have actually had some thought put into them. In one level, I was meant to read people's food orders in order to find out what the target eats, find the poison in the level, find the food in the level, and poison it to kill him. Another level had me wait for a meeting so the targets were easier to kill, and in the first level I walked with a crowd of civilians in order to sneak past some guards, but weirdly the game never gave me an opportunity to do that again. Every level has a CCTV room which you can check to get a flyover of the level and update your map, which outlines where everyone is. Now this all sounds great on paper, but in practice everything is kind of whack and broken. The game has a suspicion meter where if you get too close to guards for too long they'll start shooting, which, you know, is all fine and dandy, but the solution to this problem is just to sprint everywhere, because that way you're not too close to them for too long, and apparently an angry bald man sprinting around with his gun raised is far less suspicious than an angry bald man just casually walking around, though I guess he is still carrying a gun. Also, the disguises only have a slight effect on how people react to you, and choosing to use silent weapons over loud weapons doesn't seem to do anything either. This is mainly because the AI are barely AI. Not once did I have a civilian actually react to anything I did, and the guards just kind of walk their path and shoot you if you're in range, so the only way they find a body is if you actually leave it in their path, and you move bodies by walking into them and sliding them around on the floor, which is pretty mean, but if they do find a body, they're immediately looking for a suspicious bald man, as if somehow they can immediately tell someone got killed by a bald man. Maybe bald people like have some kind of scent or something, I don't know. If you're bald, leave a comment, let me know. So the result of all this is you just end up sprinting around killing every guard you come across, because no one seems to really react to anything you ever do. It becomes even funnier when you eventually find full auto weapons, because they take almost no time to aim, so no one's got a chance. I guess it kind of feels like playing Blood Money on the rookie mode, because it really undermines any intelligent design that went into the game as you just blast your way through each level. Just like the real Hitman games, you do get a rating at the end of each level, and obviously I didn't get particularly good ratings, but you are still allowed to kill guards if you're going for the Silent Assassin rating, so actually getting it isn't super difficult, and I just found the game was too simplistic to want to try. After a quick 40 minutes, I finished the game, and the final screen told me I was a terrible assassin, and then it told me to look forward to the next game, Hitman Blood Money Los Angeles. That's right, I was just playing Hitman Blood Money Vegas. This is actually a 2-part series. Released about 5 months later in March of 2007, I had to scour the depths of the shady J2ME sites for this one, but thankfully it is floating around out there. I also had to arbitrarily set the frame rate to 30 FPS to get it to run, and I think it runs slightly faster than Vegas did, but I have no idea if that was running at the right speed anyway, so, you know, it's playable and it feels about right. So for the most part, this game is very similar to the point where it's basically just a level pack, but these levels are better than the ones in Vegas for a few reasons. For one, they give more purpose to the disguises by having doors which are only openable if you're wearing the right clothes. Logically, this is nonsense of course, but it adds a welcome layer to the game. Another reason is that they added new possibilities to each level, such as with the ability to poison water coolers to kill the guards, and the more deliberate stuff is just generally better thought out. One level had you poisoning drinks at a party to take out your target who would routinely go to get a drink, but of course being careless I killed everyone who took a drink, but hey, it's a neat little thing. Also, these party levels are based on Blood Money's You Better Watch Out Christmas level, and it's cool to see it all demade like this. Final reason this is better is that there's just a lot of talking to people in order to find out info about the level, such as like finding hidden doors or how to find certain people. Of course, like everything, it's far more simple than it sounds, but there was one bit I liked where someone told me that a patient I was looking for was next to a pot plant, and a few levels later I had to determine who was the right patient, and I remembered that I'd been told that that was the guy and it was him, and that was a nice little setup and payoff. But just like Vegas, all this kind of interesting stuff is completely undermined by how brain dead the AI are and how easy the game is as a whole. If you have the self-control or the will to try to silent assassin this, then you'll have to play with all the things it sets up for you, but they're just too surface level, and every time you get caught you need to go back to the main menu, go through all the briefing screens and through a loading screen just to restart it. Still, Hitman Blood Money LA feels considerably more clever than Vegas. And that's Hitman Blood Money's mobile stint. They're just another of many dodgy J2ME cash-in games. Like, these two games are obviously so budgety they don't even have sound effects, it's just music, but it all had me thinking, like, someone could make a really good isometric Hitman style game and it could really work. These at least had some good ideas going for them, and I actually think the visuals are quite endearing, even if a little simplistic. Maybe this video and these games can serve as some sort of vague inspiration for an indie dev out there, because there's just a bit of a blueprint for something neat here. If you're curious, I'm going to upload my entire unedited playthroughs of both games on my second channel just for documentation's sake, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's any other random J2ME games you'd like to see covered. Like, there's so many of them and nobody's talking about them, though, you know, that's probably for an understandable reason. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching and take it easy.